My dear friends, if I told you that just 15 days could transform your entire life, would you believe me? You might say, come on, how can 15 days change a life that's been stuck for years? But let me tell you a secret. It's not the number of days that changes you. It's the decision you make within those days that changes everything. Awareness is the very first and most important step toward transforming your life. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. You may have been living in that darkness for years, moving around, bumping into things, hurting yourself, and wondering why life feels confusing or painful. But the moment you switch on that light, suddenly everything becomes visible. You can see what's around you, where you are standing, and where you need to go. That light, my friends, is called awareness. It's not just about seeing the world, it's about seeing yourself. Most people go through life without really knowing themselves. They are busy, occupied, surrounded by noise, and lost in a rush of things that don't truly matter. They wake up every morning, check their phone, scroll through social media, compare their lives to others, rush to work, and come back tired, feeling like they're doing everything, yet going nowhere. That is what happens when we live unconsciously. Awareness is about pressing pause on that endless cycle and asking the most important question: where am I in my life right now? Think of awareness like a mirror. If your face is dirty, but you never look in the mirror, you'll never know what needs to be cleaned. The mirror doesn't judge you, it just shows you the truth. Similarly, awareness doesn't criticize, it simply reflects your reality. It tells you whether you are truly happy, whether your habits are helping or hurting you, whether your relationships are lifting you up or draining your energy. It makes you see what's really going on inside you. Let's take a simple example. Imagine someone who feels constantly tired, frustrated, and stressed. Every day, he blames his job, the traffic, or the people around him for his unhappiness. But one day, he stops and observes his life closely. He realizes he's been sleeping only 5 hours a night, eating unhealthy food, and spending hours scrolling through social media before bed. That moment of realization is awareness. It's not magic, it's simply seeing the truth of what's happening. And that truth becomes the foundation of change. Awareness also means being honest with yourself. Sometimes we hide behind excuses because it's easier than facing the truth. We say things like, I'll start tomorrow, or it's not my fault, or I don't have time. But when you become aware, you stop lying to yourself. You take responsibility. You say, yes, I've been lazy. Yes, I've been careless. But now I want to change. Awareness is not about guilt. It's about growth. When you admit your reality, you open the door to transformation. Think about a driver who's lost his way. If he doesn't know where he is, no GPS in the world can help him reach his destination. He first has to identify his current location. Only then can he find the right direction. Life works the same way. Awareness is like your internal GPS. It helps you know where you are before you can move forward. Without it, you keep going in circles, making the same mistakes again and again. In our daily life, awareness can be practiced in small, beautiful ways. When you eat, be aware of the taste, the smell, the colors of your food. When you talk to someone, truly listen instead of just waiting for your turn to speak. When you feel angry, pause and ask yourself why. Is it really the situation that's upsetting you, or something unresolved inside you? Awareness turns every ordinary moment into a lesson. It helps you understand that life is not happening to you, it's happening for you, to teach, to heal, to awaken you. Sometimes awareness can be uncomfortable. It shows you things you may not want to see: your bad habits, your ego, your insecurities, your fears. But remember, even the best doctor must diagnose the disease before prescribing the cure. Awareness is that diagnosis. It helps you see the parts of yourself that need healing. It may hurt at first, but that pain is the beginning of transformation. It's like cleaning a wound, painful in the moment, but necessary for true healing. Let's look at another everyday example. Suppose you keep arguing with a loved one over small issues. You always think the problem is them. They don't listen. They don't understand. They always start the fight. But one day, you decide to reflect quietly instead of reacting. You realize that your anger comes from your own stress, your own need to be right, your own fear of being disrespected. That realization instantly changes how you respond. You stop fighting to win and start communicating to understand. That's awareness in action. It turns conflict into connection. Awareness also helps you appreciate the present. So many people live either in the past or in the future, regretting what happened or worrying about what's next. But the truth is, life is only happening now. Awareness brings you back to this moment. It teaches you to breathe deeply, to notice the sunlight, to feel gratitude for being alive. When you are aware, even the simplest things, a cup of tea, a walk, a conversation, become rich and meaningful. And the best part, awareness spreads like light. Once you start becoming aware in one area of your life, it naturally expands into others. When you become aware of your thoughts, you start managing your emotions better. When you become aware of your emotions, you start treating people with more kindness. When you become aware of your actions, your life begins to align with your values. Everything starts to change, not because the world changed, but because you started seeing it clearly. So, my dear friends, for the next few days, I invite you to practice awareness. Take time each morning to sit in silence for just 5 minutes. Close your eyes and ask, how am I feeling today? What do I really need? What am I avoiding? Write your thoughts down if you wish. Observe yourself throughout the day. Notice your reactions, your habits, your energy. And every night before you sleep, reflect on one question. Did I live consciously today? Or did I just survive on autopilot? The answer to that question will reveal more about your life than any book or lecture ever could. Because the truth is, awareness is not something outside of you. It's already there, waiting to be awakened. Once you become aware, your life starts unfolding with new clarity. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the creator of your destiny. So remember this: awareness is not the end of the journey, it's the beautiful beginning. It is the moment when you stop being asleep in your own life and start waking up to the magic within you. And once you awaken, you can never go back to who you were before. That is how awareness changes everything. It turns ordinary living into a meaningful life, and every single day into a new opportunity to grow. Gratitude is one of the most beautiful emotions a human being can experience. It has the power to shift your entire outlook on life without changing a single external circumstance. When you learn to be grateful, you stop waiting for happiness to arrive someday in the future and you start living it in the present moment. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring your problems. It means realizing that even in the middle of challenges, there are countless blessings surrounding you. It's like learning to see the stars even on a dark night. So many people spend their lives chasing after what they don't have. They think happiness will come when they buy a new car, get a better job, move to a bigger house, or when someone finally appreciates them. But have you noticed something? Once we get what we wanted, the excitement fades quickly and we start wanting something else. It's like an endless treadmill of desire, always running, never arriving. Gratitude helps you step off that treadmill. It teaches you to pause, to breathe, and to recognize that happiness was never in the next thing. It was always right here in what you already have. Imagine this. Two people wake up on the same morning. The first one opens his eyes and says, "Another boring day, so much work, so many problems." The second one opens his eyes and says, "Thank you for another day of life. I have air to breathe, people who care for me, food to eat, and one more chance to make this day beautiful." The situations of both people might be the same, but their attitudes create entirely different experiences. One lives in complaint, the other lives in contentment. Gratitude doesn't change the world outside, but it transforms the world within. Let's take a simple everyday example. Have you ever noticed how easily we complain about things? The traffic is bad, the food isn't hot enough, the weather is too hot or too cold, people don't understand us. But how often do we appreciate the things that quietly make our lives better every single day? The person who cleaned the street so you could walk comfortably, the friend who texted to check on you, the electricity that powers your home, or even the heart that keeps beating without you asking it to. Gratitude is about noticing these silent blessings that we often overlook. A man once complained that he had no shoes until he met someone who had no feet. That one moment changed his entire perspective. He realized that what he had taken for granted was someone else's dream. Gratitude opens your eyes to this truth. It makes you humble, it makes you kind, and it fills you with a quiet strength. Because when you are thankful, you stop comparing your life to others. You start celebrating your own journey. Gratitude also makes relationships blossom. Think about it. When was the last time you genuinely thanked someone close to you? Sometimes we forget to express appreciation to the very people who make our lives meaningful. Our parents, our friends, our teachers, our colleagues. A simple thank you can heal wounds, strengthen bonds, and make others feel seen and valued. When you appreciate people, you remind them that they matter. Gratitude turns ordinary relationships into lifelong connections. It's not just about saying thank you with words, it's about feeling it deeply in your heart. Gratitude is not a reaction, it's a way of life. You can practice it in small, simple ways. When you drink a glass of water, think of the countless efforts that brought it to you. The rain, the rivers, the people who purified and delivered it. When you eat a meal, remember the farmers who grew it, the hands that prepared it, and the resources that made it possible. When you step outside, and feel the sunlight, realize that the same light warms millions of people across the world, connecting all of us in a silent web of grace. There's an old saying that gratitude turns what we have into enough. And that's true. You may not have everything you want, but when you start being grateful, you realize you already have everything you need. That realization creates a sense of peace that no amount of success can buy. It's like having a calm ocean inside you. No matter how big the waves outside are, they can't disturb your inner stillness. Let's think about how gratitude changes your mind. When you're thankful, you automatically shift your focus from problems to possibilities. Instead of thinking, I have to go to work, you think, I get to go to work. I have skills, I have opportunities. Instead of saying, I have to cook dinner, you say, I'm blessed to have food to cook and people to share it with. The words you use shape your reality, and gratitude helps you choose words that create joy instead of stress. Even in pain, there's something to be grateful for. Maybe the pain is teaching you patience. Maybe a setback is preparing you for something greater. Maybe a loss is reminding you of what truly matters. Gratitude doesn't deny the existence of pain. It just doesn't let pain steal the beauty that still exists. It helps you say, yes, this is hard, but I'm still alive, still breathing, still learning, still blessed. That kind of attitude builds resilience. It gives you strength to move through the toughest times with grace. There was once a man who used to complain about his job every single day. He hated waking up early. He hated the traffic. He hated his boss. One morning, he met an old friend who had lost his job months ago. The friend said, I would give anything to have what you have right now, a job to wake up for. That moment hit him deeply. He went home and wrote down 10 things he was grateful for about his job. Slowly, his frustration turned into appreciation. Nothing outside changed, but everything inside him did. That's the magic of gratitude. My dear friends, gratitude is like a lens. When it's clean, you see the world in its true beauty. When it's clouded by complaints, everything looks dull and unfair. The more you clean that lens with appreciation, the clearer your life becomes. Gratitude invites happiness, peace, and abundance into your world. It's not about waiting for big miracles. It's about recognizing the small ones that are already happening every single day. So as you go through your day, remind yourself to be thankful. When you wake up, whisper a quiet, thank you for another chance to live. When you face challenges, say, thank you for the lessons they'll teach. When you rest at night, say, thank you for all that kept you safe and alive. Because gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a way of living that turns every moment into a gift. And when you live with gratitude, you don't just change your mood, you change your entire life. Discipline is one of the most misunderstood, yet most powerful qualities a person can develop. Many people think discipline is about restriction, control, or losing freedom, but in truth, discipline is the doorway to real freedom. It's not about limiting yourself. It's about liberating yourself from laziness, excuses, and chaos. When you become disciplined, you are no longer a slave to your moods, distractions, or impulses. You begin to live life with direction, clarity, and purpose. Think about a river. When water flows without boundaries, it floods everything and causes destruction. But when that same water is directed with discipline through a channel, it becomes a source of life, turning barren land into fertile fields. In the same way, our energy and potential need direction. Discipline gives that direction. It turns random effort into powerful progress. Without it, we waste our time chasing comfort instead of greatness. Let's take an example from daily life. Imagine a student who wants to do well in exams. If he studies only when he feels like it, he might learn a little here and there, but never deeply enough to succeed. But another student who wakes up every morning at a set time, studies for a fixed number of hours, and reviews his work daily, eventually masters the subject. The difference is not intelligence, it's discipline. Discipline transforms average effort into extraordinary results. Many people wait for motivation to start doing something. They say, I'll begin when I feel inspired, but motivation is like a guest. It comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is like a friend who stays by your side even when things are tough. It's not about feeling like doing something, it's about doing it because you've committed to it. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It reminds you of what you decided. And that's how real success is built. Think about a musician. Every beautiful melody you hear is a result of years of disciplined practice. Behind every graceful dancer is countless hours of repetition. Behind every athlete who stands on the podium are mornings of training when no one was watching. Discipline is the silent partner of success. The world sees the result, but discipline is the reason behind it. There's a beautiful saying, your habits will either make you or break you. What you repeatedly do becomes your destiny. If you wake up late, procrastinate, and avoid challenges, your future will reflect that pattern. But if you build habits of focus, punctuality, and consistency, your life will begin to move in the direction of growth. Discipline is simply the art of choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's the decision to delay temporary pleasure for long-term fulfillment. Let's look at an example everyone can relate to: health. You might want to be fit, but if you only exercise when you feel motivated, you'll rarely make progress. Discipline is waking up and going for a walk even when the bed feels warm and comfortable. It's choosing a home-cooked meal over fast food, not because it's easy, but because it's right. At first, discipline feels hard, but over time, it becomes your strength. You stop forcing yourself and start enjoying the results of your effort. Discipline also builds character. It teaches patience, endurance, and humility. It makes you realize that true growth is not instant. It's gradual. Think about a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't get crops the next morning. He waters them, protects them, and waits. That patience and consistent effort, that's discipline. In the same way, when you're working toward your dreams, discipline is what keeps you going even when you don't see immediate results. Sometimes people think discipline takes away joy from life, but it's the opposite. Without discipline, you feel lost, scattered, and unfulfilled. With discipline, you create space for peace, stability, and self-respect. There's a deep satisfaction in knowing you did what you said you would do. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust with your own soul. And when you trust yourself, confidence grows naturally. Think about something as simple as waking up early. The first few days, your mind resists. You feel sleepy, irritated, and tempted to quit. But as you continue, you start enjoying the quiet mornings, the calm before the world wakes up, the chance to think clearly, plan your day, and start strong. That little act of discipline becomes a daily victory that sets the tone for everything else. Discipline also protects you from regret. There's a kind of pain that comes from effort, the pain of waking up early, of pushing yourself, of saying no to distractions. But that pain is temporary. The pain of regret, however, lasts forever. Discipline helps you avoid that second pain by ensuring that, no matter how small, you take steps forward each day. Even slow progress is better than standing still. Let's take another example. Imagine two people starting a new skill, say, learning guitar. One practices irregularly, skipping days, waiting for the right mood. The other practices just 30 minutes daily, consistently. A year later, the first person has barely improved, while the second plays beautifully. The difference wasn't talent, it was discipline. The guitar didn't teach itself, it responded to effort. Life works the same way. It rewards consistency, not occasional passion. In today's world, where distractions are everywhere, discipline has become even more valuable. Your phone, social media, entertainment, all of these things constantly fight for your attention. Discipline is what helps you take control of your time instead of letting the world control it for you. It reminds you that your focus is your greatest asset and you must guard it carefully. Remember, discipline doesn't mean perfection. You may fail some days, lose motivation, or make mistakes, and that's okay. What matters is getting back up and continuing. Discipline is not about never falling, it's about never staying down. Each time you rise, you grow stronger. My dear friends, if you truly want to change your life, discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it works quietly every single day, building you into the person you were meant to become. So when you wake up tomorrow, remember this: you don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to start. Show up even when it's hard. Do what you said you would, even when no one is watching. Because every small act of discipline is a brick in the foundation of your dream. And one day, you'll look back and realize that all those little efforts, all those moments of persistence, built a life you're proud of. That is the beauty of discipline. It doesn't just shape your habits, it shapes your destiny. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful, yet hardest things a human heart can do. It's easy to say the words, I forgive. But it takes real strength to let go of pain that has lived inside you for years. Many people carry anger, resentment, and bitterness in their hearts, thinking that holding on gives them power. But in truth, it only keeps them chained to the very hurt they wish to escape from. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was right. It's about choosing peace over pain. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional prison that anger builds around your soul. When someone hurts us, the pain can cut deep. Maybe they betrayed your trust, spoke harsh words, or walked away when you needed them most. At that moment, your heart feels heavy and your mind replays the scene again and again. You think that by remembering it, by staying angry, you're somehow protecting yourself from being hurt again. But what really happens is that you keep reliving the same moment of pain. It's like drinking poison and hoping the other person will suffer. Forgiveness is the antidote. It's the decision to stop carrying that poison and start healing your own heart. Think about this. When you carry a grudge, it doesn't punish the person who hurt you, it punishes you. It keeps you trapped in the past, unable to fully experience the present. You may smile on the outside, but inside, there's a storm that never settles. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or pretending it didn't happen. It means you are choosing to rise above it, to no longer let that pain define your peace. It's a gift you give to yourself, not to the other person. Let's take an example from daily life. Imagine a woman named Sarah who was deeply hurt by a close friend who betrayed her trust. For months, she couldn't sleep well. Every time she saw that friend's name, her chest tightened with anger. Her days became heavy, her smile faded, and even though her friend had moved on, Sarah remained stuck in that moment of betrayal. One day, she decided she didn't want to feel that pain anymore. She realized that her anger was not protecting her, it was consuming her. So she chose to forgive, not because her friend deserved it, but because she deserved peace. Slowly, she let go of that bitterness. Her mind became lighter, her heart softer, and for the first time in months, she slept peacefully. That's what forgiveness does. It sets you free from the invisible weight that holds you down. Forgiveness is not weakness. It doesn't mean you let people walk over you or that you ignore what they did. It means you are strong enough to heal yourself and wise enough to understand that holding on to anger will only burn you. Just like fire destroys everything it touches, resentment burns your joy, your energy, and your hope. When you forgive, you take back control. You stop letting your past control your future. We all have moments where we need to forgive, not just others, but also ourselves. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is the one we see in the mirror. We punish ourselves for mistakes, for poor choices, for things we said or didn't say. But what good does guilt do if it only makes us feel worse? Self-forgiveness is just as important as forgiving others. You cannot move forward if you keep holding yourself hostage to your past. When you say, yes, I made mistakes, but I'm learning and growing, you give yourself permission to heal. Remember, every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. Think of forgiveness like dropping a heavy bag of stones you've been carrying for years. Each stone represents a hurt, a disappointment, a grudge. You may think you need to carry it to remind yourself of the pain, but in truth, it's only slowing you down. When you finally let go, you realize how light and free life feels. Forgiveness is not about forgetting the lesson. It's about remembering it without the bitterness. It's about saying, that experience shaped me, but it doesn't control me anymore. In relationships, forgiveness keeps love alive. Every human being makes mistakes. No one is perfect. When you forgive someone you love, you're not saying they were right. You're saying the relationship is worth more than the argument. Forgiveness builds bridges where ego would build walls. It teaches you humility, compassion, and the ability to see beyond someone's flaws. It reminds you that just as you need forgiveness, others need it too. Let's take another simple example. A father and son stop speaking for years after a disagreement. Both are waiting for the other to apologize first. The silence grows, and so does the distance. One day the father falls ill, and the son rushes to the hospital, realizing how foolish pride has been. When he holds his father's hand, all the anger disappears, he forgives, and suddenly years of pain dissolve in a single embrace. Sometimes, forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it transforms the present. It gives us back the time we lost to resentment. Forgiveness also invites healing in ways we can't always see. When you forgive, your body feels lighter, your sleep becomes deeper, and your smile becomes real again. It removes the tension that builds up from holding on to anger. Forgiveness is like opening a window in a stuffy room and letting in the fresh air of peace. But remember, forgiveness is a process, not a switch. It takes time. Some wounds are deep and take days, months, or even years to heal. Don't rush it. Allow yourself to feel the pain, to understand it, but don't live there forever. Slowly, as your heart grows stronger, forgiveness will come naturally. And when it does, you will feel an incredible peace. A peace that no apology could ever give you. My dear friends, life is too short to live carrying bitterness. People will hurt you, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes not. But you have the power to choose how long you allow that hurt to live inside you. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. It turns your wounds into wisdom and your pain into power. So take a deep breath. Think about the people or situations that still cause you pain and say to yourself, I am letting go. Not because they deserve it, but because I deserve peace. When you do that, you step into a new chapter of your life, one filled with calmness, freedom, and lightness of spirit. That's the true beauty of forgiveness. It's not about changing others, it's about healing yourself. And when you choose forgiveness, you are not losing anything, you are gaining everything: your peace, your strength, and your freedom to live fully once again. Positivity is not about ignoring the difficulties of life, it's about facing them with a mindset that refuses to be defeated. It's about choosing to see light when the world seems dark, hope when the heart feels heavy, and possibilities when the road ahead looks uncertain. Being positive doesn't mean you don't feel pain or sadness. It means you decide not to let those emotions control you. Life is full of ups and downs, but positivity helps you sail through the storms with faith instead of fear. Imagine waking up in the morning and your first thought is, what a tiring day this will be. Instantly, your mood drops. The body becomes heavy, and even small problems feel like mountains. But if you start the same day by saying, today is a new chance to do something good, your energy shifts. You haven't changed your circumstances, but you've changed the lens through which you see them. That is the power of positivity. It changes everything without changing anything. Think about a rainy day. Some people look at the rain and complain, what a gloomy day, everything will be messy. But others look out the same window and say, how beautiful, the earth is being washed clean, and the plants will bloom. The situation is the same, but the perception makes all the difference. That's what positivity does. It doesn't erase the rain, but it teaches you to dance in it. Let's take an example from daily life. Imagine you are at work and you've made a mistake in a project. The negative mindset immediately says, I'm so stupid. I always mess things up. Everyone must think I'm useless. But the positive mindset says, I made an error, yes, But this is a chance to learn and improve. One thought destroys your confidence, the other builds it. One closes the door to growth, the other opens it wide. Positivity doesn't deny the mistake, it transforms it into a lesson. Positive thinking is like the sun. Even when clouds cover it, the light is still there. You might not see it at the moment, but it never disappears. Similarly, even when life gets tough, even when everything seems wrong, positivity reminds you that better days are ahead. You just have to keep believing, keep moving, and keep smiling. We all meet people who radiate positivity. They may not be the richest or the most successful, but there's something peaceful about them. They smile easily, they speak kindly, and they handle challenges gracefully. Have you noticed how such people make everyone around them feel lighter? That's the energy of a positive soul. It doesn't just uplift itself, it uplifts others too. You can become that person. Positivity is not pretending everything is perfect. It's finding something good even when it's not. For example, when someone criticizes you, instead of reacting with anger, you can choose to find the lesson hidden inside their words. When plans fail, instead of complaining, you can say, maybe life is redirecting me to something better. This kind of thinking doesn't come overnight. It's a daily practice. You train your mind to look for light instead of shadows. Think about a gardener planting seeds. He knows he won't see flowers the next day. There will be heat, rain, insects, and time before beauty blooms. But he keeps nurturing the soil because he believes in what's growing beneath it. That's what positivity is. It's faith in the unseen. Even when results aren't visible, you keep watering your dreams with hope. You keep trusting that your effort will bear fruit. Sometimes negativity feels easier. Complaining feels natural. It's easy to blame, to criticize, to say, nothing ever works out for me. But every time you do that, you give your power away. Positivity gives it back. It tells you that even if life isn't fair, you can still be kind. Even if people disappoint you, you can still be loving. Even if you fall, you can still rise. The real strength is not in avoiding problems, but in staying optimistic while facing them. Let's take another simple example. Imagine someone stuck in traffic. The negative thinker curses the delay, hunks impatiently, and lets frustration ruin the mood. The positive thinker, on the other hand, uses that time to listen to uplifting music, reflect, or simply breathe deeply. Both people are in the same car, on the same road, but one is stressed while the other is peaceful. The situation didn't change, the attitude did. Positivity also has a way of attracting beautiful things into your life. When you stay positive, you become a magnet for good energy. You start meeting people who inspire you. Opportunities begin to appear, and even challenges start feeling meaningful. It's almost as if life rewards a thankful heart with more reasons to be thankful. It's not magic, it's mindset. What you focus on expands. If you focus on what's wrong, you'll see more problems. If you focus on what's right, you'll start noticing blessings everywhere. There's a beautiful story of a man who lost his job and was devastated. He thought it was the end of his career. But instead of drowning in self-pity, he decided to use this time to build something new. He started a small business with the little savings he had. At first it was tough, but he stayed positive, kept learning, and never gave up. A few years later, that small business became a huge success. Later, he said, "Losing my job was the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to discover my true potential." That's the magic of a positive mindset. It turns endings into beginnings. Positivity doesn't just change how you live, it changes who you are. It gives you patience when things are slow, peace when life is chaotic, and strength when you feel weak. It helps you see that every problem carries a hidden blessing, and every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. So, my dear friends, start filling your days with positive thoughts. When you wake up, thank life for another day. When something goes wrong, remind yourself that it's just temporary. When you feel low, speak words of hope to yourself. Tell yourself, this moment will pass. Better things are coming. Because they always do. Life responds to your energy, and positivity creates the kind of energy that opens doors where you once saw walls. In the end, positivity is not a destination, it's a daily choice. Every morning, you get to decide how you will see the world. You can choose fear or faith, anger or calmness, complaint or gratitude. The more you choose positivity, the more life gives you reasons to keep choosing it. And one day, you'll look back and realize that it wasn't your circumstances that shaped your life. It was your attitude. And the moment you decided to see the good began to multiply. That is the quiet, gentle, but unstoppable power of positivity. Self-discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It's that quiet inner strength that pushes you to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Many people wait for motivation to strike before taking action, but the truth is, discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. A motivation is like a spark. It can start a fire, but discipline is the wood that keeps that fire burning. Without discipline, even the best dreams remain just that, dreams. Imagine someone who decides to start waking up early to exercise and meditate. On the first day, they feel excited, full of energy, ready to conquer the world. But by the third day, the alarm rings, and the body whispers, just 5 more minutes. That's when the real test begins. Discipline is not in starting something, it's in continuing when comfort calls you back. It's saying no to excuses and yes to growth. Think about students preparing for exams. Some wait for the perfect mood to study. They'll say, "I'll start when I feel ready," but that day rarely comes. Others sit down every day, even if they don't feel like it. They make a plan, stick to it, and trust the process. When results arrive, it's not luck that helped them succeed, it's discipline. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary often comes down to consistency, not talent. Life rewards those who stay consistent. Every great athlete, every successful entrepreneur, every wise monk, they all have one thing in common. They mastered the art of self-discipline. Gaur Gopal once said, "Discipline is doing what's right even when it's not easy." Because let's be honest, the easy path rarely leads anywhere meaningful. The easy path gives you comfort today, but regret tomorrow. The disciplined path gives you challenge today, but pride tomorrow. Let's take an everyday example. Imagine you are trying to eat healthy. One day you pass by your favorite bakery, and the smell of freshly baked cookies fills the air. Your mouth waters, your mind tempts you, saying, "Just one won't hurt." but deep down, you know your goal: to stay healthy, to feel light, to be strong. That moment of choice defines your strength. Discipline doesn't mean you never enjoy treats. It means you enjoy them at the right time, not every time. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. It protects you from laziness, from regret, from distractions. When you are disciplined, you control your actions instead of being controlled by impulses. It's like driving a car. You hold the steering wheel and decide where you want to go. Without discipline, your emotions take the wheel and you end up lost, frustrated, and far from your goals. There's a powerful story of a man who wanted to learn the piano. He started with excitement, practiced for a few days, and then gave up because progress was slow. A year later, he met another man who started practicing the same day but never stopped. That man could now play beautifully. The first man said, "I wish I hadn't quit." That's the story of so many lives. We give up too soon, not because we can't do it, but because we lack the discipline to keep going. Discipline is built through small daily actions. It's in waking up on time, showing up for work with dedication, finishing what you start, and keeping promises you make to yourself. These small victories build self-respect. You start trusting yourself, and that trust becomes your power. When you say, "I'll do it," and actually do it, your confidence grows quietly, day by day. Think of discipline like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The first few days may feel hard. Your mind will resist. Your body will complain. But if you keep showing up, something magical happens. What once felt difficult starts feeling natural. You begin to enjoy the process. Waking up early, eating healthy, studying regularly, all these things that once seemed heavy become part of who you are. That's when discipline turns into habit, and habit turns into lifestyle. Discipline is also deeply connected with self-love. When you care about yourself, you don't allow laziness or procrastination to steal your dreams. You value your time and energy too much to waste them on meaningless distractions. You say no to what doesn't serve your purpose, not because someone forced you, but because you know you deserve better. That's self-respect in action. Let's take another real-life example. A young professional dreams of starting her own business, but after work she feels tired. Instead of watching shows for hours every night, she decides to dedicate just 1 hour to learning business skills. Some nights she feels lazy, but she reminds herself why she started. Months pass, and her small efforts accumulate into knowledge, plans, and eventually success. That's the beauty of discipline. It compounds. Tiny steps every day create giant leaps over time. Many people think discipline limits freedom, but it's the opposite. Discipline creates freedom. When you're disciplined with money, you earn financial freedom. When you're disciplined with time, you earn freedom to do what you love. When you're disciplined with habits, you gain freedom from regrets. Undisciplined living feels like freedom at first, but soon it becomes a cage of consequences, missed opportunities, wasted potential, and unfulfilled dreams. Even in spirituality, discipline plays a vital role. Waking up early for prayer, meditating daily, or reading something uplifting every morning requires effort. But over time, that effort brings peace, clarity, and joy, just as brushing your teeth daily keeps your mouth clean. Practicing discipline daily keeps your mind clean. It removes mental clutter and keeps your focus sharp. And remember, discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. You will have days when you slip, when you feel unmotivated, when you fail. But discipline means standing up again and trying once more. It's okay to fall, but don't stay down. Every sunrise gives you a new chance to start again, a new opportunity to strengthen your willpower. So, my dear friends, if you truly want to change your life in 15 days, or even in 15 years, start by mastering self-discipline. Wake up a little earlier than usual. Spend time on things that add value to your life. Speak kindly, think clearly, and act intentionally. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Create it through consistent effort. Remember this: motivation will get you started, but discipline will keep you going. It is the invisible thread that connects your present to your potential. It transforms dreams into reality, chaos into order, and wishes into achievements. When you walk the path of discipline, life doesn't necessarily get easier, but you get stronger, and that strength will carry you through every storm, every challenge, every doubt. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful thing you can master is not the world around you, but yourself.